Well, I will be the contrarian. I'll say let's go slow and let's go to the arena where Novatera Ren and DJ will break down the match.
Welcome back to the arena. I'm Nova Terran, joined once again by Dujek One Eye for what is yet another rematch from a day one matchup, interestingly enough, between Rusty Hyena's Clan and Slow Children at Play. That time, there was a sort of Vindicator control that ran up against an autocannon rush. This time, looking very different. Slow Children at Play, rather, bringing a Torp Raven Navy issue setup. What are we seeing from Rusty Hyena's Clan?
Rusty Hyenas are going to try to kite away from those Torp Ravens, which I think is the best strategy if you're up against Torp Ravens. Go fast, but be far away. I love the Ibis on the slow team. The Ibis can actually fit jams in this format, I'm pretty sure. It's jam bonus.
Yep.
Let's see if it becomes in clutch.
That it can, and it's always hilarious to be on the receiving end of an Ibis jam that actually lands. And by hilarious, I mean you are cursing at your monitor when you notice that that happens. We'll see if you can land anything. We won't know exactly, at least from the graphic. Again, it's just jam attempts that we can see with the fancy UI, but we'll see how it goes here. I'm liking the position, especially having Jackdaws to get rid of the low end for Rusty Hyena's Clan. But yeah, we'll see. Things starting out immediately. It looks like there's an attempt with target paints and webs landing on a hyena from slow immediately. That is the initial target from Rusty Hyena's Clan, and I really like that. Both the hyena and Loki are a massive threat to this kiting comp.
Yeah, especially once they get the hyena down, they can damp out the Loki to just basically have no webs against them. I think also the rusty hyenas just want a monopoly on hyena here. It's a little bit weird to see your titular ship on the opponent's side of the field trying to kill you, but this hyena is tanking very well.
No, the hyena knew right off the bat what was about to come for him, and they were burning very far away as their Raven navies were instead deciding to push inward. Now it's the Loki who is under pressure from the Slow Children at Play side, who's also now pulling back, trying to get away from that kiting comp and potentially be able to catch some reps from these Kirans. But yeah, so far, Rusty Hyena's Clan doing a great job of at least swapping targets, staying away, and yeah, staying very far away from these Raven Navy issues, because if those Raven Navies are able to get into range, tackle something, that thing I'm pretty certain is going to die.
The primarying of webs and forcing them to go back is almost as good as killing them in terms of their own survivability. Like, no webs from slow have gone onto Rusty Hyena's ships yet. And without those webs, the Ravens are just not going to do any damage. Even if they were to slow something down, like Torps are not fully applying here. They if they were a cruise, this would be a very different fight. The Ibis has also gone down in one shot. The ECM of that Ibis, I am just assuming that it has ECM, not relevant anymore.
Yeah, the last time I flew an Ibis in Alliance tournament scrims, at least, I did not have any room for tank, so not surprised to see a stray sneeze knocking down the Ibis there entirely on its own. But Slow Children at Play are now applying to a Caracal Navy, and wow, look at them chunk it straight into hull, trying to catch reps here. But I have a feeling, yeah, they might just be gone. And yeah, really low hull now. They do trade onto a Kieran, though. Kieran is a really important thing for Rusty Hyena's Clan to be able to get rid of. Anything subsequent that they do target with their kite is much more likely to die.
True Demon of this Caracal Navy is actually getting somewhat out of range and getting reps a little bit. It's very hard to like secure a kill on a Raven Navy because even if you have your say 45 to 60-kilometer range with Torps as they're helped out, Lilith and the Kirin going down while we're talking about this, you still are fighting things that are moving away from you, and as such, your missiles have less range virtually.
Yeah, that second Kieran absolutely got evaporated there, and that is a very big deal. Again, the longer it takes for Slow to be able to find a target now, the more the rest of their team is going to drop off the field. The Stork is now next to go. Things slowly falling apart. They still have some chance to be able to grab something and apply damage to it, but they need to do so quickly. They've been trying their hardest now to put damage into the Cyclone fleet issue after that Caracal Navy got out of range earlier while being in 10% hull, but they have been unable to break through the scimitar reps on it as well. Another ship now dropping off from slow. I believe it was the Hyena this time, and I think it's just the Loki that's going to be their only chance to catch anything. And even if it does, it might just be too late.
I think that Loki probably can't lock past like 7 kilometers. He's got a
Mhm.
full carry's worth of damps on him, and he's webbed. I suspect that Loki probably will never be able to lock further than the webs that are currently holding him in place.
I suspect you're very much correct on that. We saw the carries doing a great job earlier of swapping back and forth to make sure the damps were going to prevent any relevant tackles for as long as possible. And now at this point, with so many ships having been gone from the slow children at play side, they can just stick them on the Loki and feel very secure that they're going to be able to take things down without risking any of their ships getting tackled. We're now seeing the webs from the Rapier start to apply both to the Bifrost, but then swapping over to a Raven Navy issue. It looks like potentially after they take down this Loki, they might start to chew through the top end finally.
Yeah, that's gonna take forever for this team. Like they have chosen having good application, having good control, and having good logi over the raw damage that you might hope. One of the things that was spoken about earlier in this tournament is the fact that the Hugin has some better stats than the Rapier on the Hyenas team, but the Rapier shoots missiles, so it synergizes a little bit better with the missile kite comp. It has similar ranges, it applies in the same way, it gets disrupted in the same way, and they're using this Rapier to great effect to keep the target they want off them locked down as they now kill the Bifrost. I think of these slow ravens kind of as T Rexes. Like they're big, powerful. They would do a lot of damage to you, but they have little tiny arms that can't quite reach over and hit the hyena.
I think that's an excellent analogy in this specific case. And you know what? They almost got taunted there by the Rusty Hyena's clan Bellicose, who had actually stopped propping for a while, let those Raven navies get up to nearly like 15 kilometers away from it, even like really, really close, and then immediately propped away before it was actually at a risky range. Yeah, beautiful to see. It's a really well executed kite, I would say. Yet again, I was quoted as saying, I do not like seeing HML Kite make it through, but I mean, this one is very well fielded, I would say, from Rusty Hyenas, recognizing every threat right before it comes and getting out ahead of it. It's, yeah, really well done.
I like the Rusty Hyenas comp quite well. I think it's a quintessential, like, powerful comp to take into feeders in particular. You have a carries to deal with, like, the most dangerous thing you might face at range. You have the rapier to slow down rushes and counter webbing ships that are coming from you. You have jackdaws to deal with opposing carries and mollusk as well, and you've got good logi. Everything in your comp is fast. You've got at least some thing to help out with any situation you might find yourself in. And you're relying on your own piloting to keep away. And if you are trusting your own piloting in this situation, you could be untouchable.
We are reaching the point as well where you can look at the defense, attack, and control bars on the screen and see, even if Slow was applying all of their attack bar at this point, that both teams could essentially ram each other at this point, and it would still likely go up in Rusty Haynes' clan favor. Keeping their logi alive the entire time as well was such a massive deal for them. Not only were they incredibly pressured on the Cyclone fleet issue at one point, but also that Caracal Navy that again stabilized at 10% structure. Scimitar just being able to be leveraged in every critical moment as well. It's yeah, excellent flying all around.
Yeah, you stole what I was gonna say. I was just gonna say, like, good job to Carl for and keeping his team alive in this case. I think they worked well together. I liked how they kept the webs off. I wonder a little bit how this matchup might have gone if Slow had just completely rushed, overheated every prop and every web and just gone in. Like you are going to lose your hyena, but like, could you sneak your Loki in? I think that might have been one of their chances to get something done here.
It's a good question. One other thing they might have been able to try to attempt, which I saw them do just a few moments ago, but a little bit too late and unsuccessfully, was try to go for a micro jump unit play as well. They could potentially use that to try to get their battleship core right out ahead of the kite. I assume at that point Rusty and his clan would try to burn in a little bit to try to prevent them from getting landed on if they recognize it in time. But that could be a way to try to gamble to try to get some I guess percentage points back there as the comp was falling apart for slow children. But here we are seeing Rusty Hyena's clan taking down the last Raven Navy issue from slow here of SAR Infamous. They tried their best. They couldn't get there with their little dinosaur arms. And with that explosion here, we're going to be sending it back to the analysis desk.
Hello and welcome back. With that, Rusty Hyena's clan have made their way into the Alliance tournament, Slow Children at Play, on to the redemption bracket. And what a match! That was an absolute kite. GM Ren, what do you think of that?
I thought that was an amazing match and extremely successfully executed. Full kite setup, full HML long range, paints to apply, pick off the right targets one after another, and I think the caracal might have gotten caught by a hot web here and there, and it just managed to slip out just in time and survive in 10% structure. Um, if a comp like that starts bleeding out and loses ships here and there, they simply don't have the DPS to keep up in a DPS race, in a straight race. So the fact that they managed to stay out of range and keep moving and keep picking off targets, yeah, that really meticulously executed plan there.
Speaking of surviving, we saw the hyena for Slow Children, or sorry, the hyena for
Yes, the hyena
Slow
first.
Children. I'm like, there's too many hyenas on grid. The hyena for slow children hung on for a long, long time. Hyenas, absolutely critical ships in the tournament. They do have a habit of getting primaried pretty quickly. So I believe we have a lovely chart of how long the average hyena lives. So here we can see the hyena, both its win rate and its survival rate and average tankiness. Colonel Kurtz, what are you thinking when you're trying to tell people to shoot a hyena?
Hyenas can be notoriously difficult to kill, especially if they're afterburner fit. If you haven't got a way to catch it, you haven't got a way to kill it. It has no hit points, right? The tank on a hyena is abysmal. But if you can apply to it, whether it be tracking it with guns or hitting it for full damage with missiles, it is going to die. But you've got to be able to either blow its signature up with a target painter, stop its MWD with a scram, or slow it down enough with a web to be able to kill it. But if you can't do those things, it's just going to buzz about and cause you absolute chaos. And some of the best pilots in the AT are hyena pilots. A lot of the big teams have people that specialize in flying hyenas because it can be such a difficult role to fly. But if done well, this can win you a match. A good hyena pilot can win you a match, 100%.
Absolutely. We can see the long tail there of hyenas that survived long past when perhaps they were expected to die. And in that match in particular, the hyena would have been really important to the slow strategy. Uh, Colonel Kurtz, what do we think of the missile choice for slow?
I think I called it, didn't I? Just before the match, I said, look, they're going to want to bring something big here, and I mentioned the torpedoes. I love it when I'm right. Most people don't, but I love it when I'm right, and I got it spot on. They brought the torpedoes, right? Torpedoes can be great if you're shooting something big. Did we see any battleships from the Rusty Hyena side? No, we did not. So they were probably kicking themselves at that point, but more so the fact that that kite comp from Rusty Hyenas was pretty much a direct counter to those slow battleships with their limited torpedo ranges. Unless they could catch something and really pin it down, they weren't going to be able to do that. So it was, their goose was cooked before it even set foot out the oven. If I'm perfectly honest with you, The only thing that they had to hope on was that Rusty Hyenas were going to slip up. If they didn't kite well, if they didn't stay together, if they got caught, then it was going to be a very different story. But all props to Rusty Hyenas. They piloted that perfectly. That may have seemed like a bit of an anemic comp in terms of damage, and it is. It's a rush. It's a kite comp. It's all about speed, staying away, and picking things off. But they meticulously picked away, killed things off, and they won the match. They might not have been able to burn through battleships like some of these Kingslayer comps that we've seen, but that doesn't matter. A win is a win.